Hi guys, it's Mrs. Grice again, and today I'm going to be reading to you Python by Christopher Chang and Mark Jackson. This book, much like Seahorse, is a hybrid text. A hybrid, if you remember, is a combination of different genres. In this case, it is fiction and nonfiction. Christopher and Mark did a lot of research about pythons, and they have taken everything that they learned and created a story. What would it be like if they followed a real python one day, a day in the life of a python? And this is our book. However, you will also notice some nonfiction text features, like little fun facts all throughout. So I hope you enjoy. Take a moment before I start reading, and I want you to jot down all the things that you think you already know about pythons. It's morning in the bush. Python stirs and peeks out from her sheltered resting place. She warms her head and smells the air with her forked tongue. Now it's time to warm her whole body. She slithers into the open to bask. A sunny rock is the perfect place. To bask means to just lay and take it all in, take in all that sunshine. Pythons, like all reptiles, are ectothermic. That means they acquire heat from their environment. Ectothermic. Therm means heat. Some of you may have a thermal blanket that you plug in. It keeps you all warm. Her scales are dull. Her eye scales are cloudy. Her body has no more room to grow inside her old scaly covering. It's time to molt. She rubs her head against a rock, and the old sack of scales peels back, just like a sock. We can use our context clues to see that molt means to get rid of that outer layer. Underneath is a shiny snake. Now her smooth scales glisten in the sun. Notice we have our fun facts. They're kind of curvy and much smaller. Python's sleek scales are made of keratin, just like human fingernails. So the scales on a snake actually feel much like your fingernails. Snakes don't have eyelids, so they can't blink. Their eyes are covered by a single scale. With her body now warm, she glides to the dappled light in the trees. Slowly rippling, she moves along the branches. Think about a nonfiction book. Would it really talk about a snake gliding to dappled light or slowly rippling? Those are very vivid words that help us understand and feel a mood. And those are words that would be used in more of a fiction, in a story. A bird drops onto a branch. He pecks at the bark, unaware that he is being watched very, very closely. Python smells the air, lies in ambush, and waits. To lie in ambush is to wait, and then you're going to strike your prey, and they will have no idea it's coming. To ambush is a surprise attack. Pythons flick their tongues in and out to pick up scents. The snake is not being rude. She's smelling. So he's saying basically when he sticks out their tongue. The little bird takes another step closer, focused only on crawling insects. Pythons wait no longer. She missed. Just in time, the bird flaps away, safe from razor-sharp teeth. You can see right here. And it says, facts, pythons have rows of needle-like teeth, perfect for grabbing, hooking, and holding prey, but no good for chewing food. That's interesting. The sky grows darker. The python slithers to the bushes and finds a covered spot. Passing creatures will not see her here. She checks the air. The animals of the night are on the move. A possum scurries past from her nest in the tree. A bat flaps by. close to the ground, chasing low-flying moths. A rat scampers among the grasses. Once more, Python smells the air, lies in ambush, and waits. Pause the tape. What does lies in ambush mean? Think back to what I had just told you a couple pages back. Many pythons have pits just under their lips. These are sensors that help them detect warm-blooded animals. Pits are great for hunting in the dark or in the shady forest. If they have pits and that helps them detect warm-blooded animals, I can infer that they do not eat plants. They're looking for their meal, which would be a warm-blooded animal. There were several that were right there. Possum, bat, and now rat. The rat stops. He scratches the ground and moves a little closer, looking for seeds to eat. Python waits no longer. Dinner! Pythons are constrictors. A python doesn't crush its prey. Instead, it suffocates it. Broken bones would make it hard to eat. So to constrict means to squeeze. With a vice-like grip, she holds her prey tightly, and then quickly, carefully, she coils her body around her evening feast. When the rat can no longer breathe, dinner is ready. Python loosens her coils and starts to eat, the head first, then the body, until finally the tail disappears. Like all snakes, pythons can unhinge their jaws and expand their bodies to eat food that is much bigger than they are. Unhinge. So there's a joint right here that keeps this together, but they can disconnect theirs. Open your mouth as wide as you can. Now imagine if you could separate the top from the bottom. How big could it get? I want you to stop the tape right now, and I want you to write, how do the illustrations on these 2 pages help us understand what is actually going on? Heavy Python moves very slowly to a shelter to rest and digest her big meal. It will take days. Meanwhile, she waits. For some pythons, one large meal will be enough to last for weeks and weeks without eating again. One day, Python stays in her nest. She is not alone. She is coiled around her eggs. Her body shivers, not from cold, but to help keep her eggs warm. She leaves her clutch of eggs to warm her body in the sun. Though not for long, she doesn't want her eggs to cool or be eaten by a hungry predator. So she is shaking, which makes me think about when we had science, we talked about friction, and that movement created warmth. And we also learned in this that the group of eggs is called a clutch. Some pythons can lay clutches of more than 100 eggs. The shells are not hard like birds' eggs. They are soft and leathery. Quickly, it's back to her nest, and that's where she stays for many days and nights until an egg is about to hatch. A small slit appears and out pops a head. Soon, many heads are poking out from their shells. The hatchlings smell the air, watch, and wait. Python leaves her clutch to bask in the sun, but this time she does not return. And it says, pythons, like many snakes, are born with an egg tooth to slit the shell. This tooth is soon discarded. So these babies, these hatchlings, actually have a tooth that is specially made in adaptation to break open these eggs. And then it says it's discarded. Discarded means it is thrown away. I don't think they throw it away, but they get rid of it. Finally, after many days, the hatchlings leave their shells. Now they are ready to start their own lives of smelling, resting, watching, and waiting. So we learned that the mother left the babies once they hatched and went on about her life, leaving them to fend for themselves. And so they are independent, kind of like the seahorse. We talked about how the seahorses were very independent right from the get-go. In the back of the book, there's a page that says about pythons. This is straight up facts. And it says, pythons live in Africa, Asia, and Australia in steamy tropical rainforests, grasslands, swamps, or stony deserts. And some are wonderful swimmers too. Pythons are also found in Florida's Everglades National Park. Pythons are not native to America though, and these pythons have either escaped or are released pets or their offspring. So that means that originally pythons were not part of the United States. They were not animals that were found here, but were brought over. And this actually, I'm from Miami, and this is very common. People will get snakes from pet stores and then they don't want to take care of them, so they would go release them in the Everglades. So now we have pythons as part of the Everglades. The python in this book, though, is a diamond python, which is found in Australia. Diamond pythons are more active during the day than other types of pythons, which are mostly nocturnal. Do you remember nocturnal means at night? That means they sleep or bask during the day and are active at night. Like most snakes, pythons have a bad reputation, but it is not really deserved. They are non-venomous, but are good squeezers. Remember the word we used for squeeze, which was constrict. Most female pythons are wonderful mothers, staying coiled around their eggs to incubate and protect them while they develop. Many have stunning colors that help them blend in with their environment, and they aren't slimy. They can't be. They are covered in dry scales. So I don't know if you wrote in the beginning, one thing that you knew about pythons is that they were slimy, but that is actually not true. Look up the pages to find out about all these python things. Don't forget to look at both kinds of words, this kind and this kind. Remember, I told you in this book, on every page, there would be part of the story, and then there would be part of the facts. The facts were all written in smaller and in curved fonts. Also, like in seahorse, there is an index. An index helps us find important information if we were researching pythons. If we wanted to know about their eggs, we would know to look on these pages. We also notice that it's written in alphabetical order, which helps us if I'm thinking, oh, what about their scales? I don't have to look through all of these words. I know to look further down. I hope you enjoyed this book. What I want you to do now is stop and jot at least one or two things that you have now learned about pythons after listening to this story. Thanks. Bye.